Hi guys!
Hey guys!
It's time for another Fox Monday review, and tonight we're reviewing Gotham Season 2, Episode 2, titled Knock Knock, and Minority Report Season 1, Episode 2, titled Mr. Nice Guy. If you haven't seen those episodes and you want to avoid any spoilers, you're going to want to skip this video and come back after you've seen them, because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. Okay, starting off with Gotham Season 2, Episode 2, titled Knock Knock. And I love the title of the episode because it's Knock Knock Knock. It's sort of a joke.
And it's kind of who we think is Joker. It's based around him. It's very featured Jerome.
Yeah.
And Gotham turned it around because I was a little worried with that season premiere, but like they took a step back and they went slower and they developed story. There was some amazing character development in this episode.
and they did slow it down, but they didn't slow it down radically. Like, it was still it was a fast-paced episode.
It was fast-paced, but they had enough in it. It wasn't too fast.
Yeah, it wasn't like breakneck speed, like, oh my god, I can't believe they're cramming so much into this episode. It was even and steady, but still fast, and it worked really, really well.
Yeah.
So the Maniacs have made their public debut.
Oh, and how they do it!
Oh my gosh, they basically they kidnap these people from the docks, right?
It's something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was from the docks, and they're just pitching them off the roof.
They're in straitjackets with letters on them, and they just throw them off the roof, and you don't really know what's going on. You see that they have something on them, and then it pans up, and it spells out Maniacs, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. My favorite scene in the episode, and there was a couple really, really good scenes in this episode, but my favorite was when Jerome and the woman eater, whose name is Woo, but they're kind of fighting over who was going to be the head honcho of the Maniacs, and they play Russian roulette. Yeah,
and Jerome is certifiable. I mean, like, he just keeps going and going, and I'm like, I kind of almost expect him to do it to himself a couple times and then just shoot him.
That's what I thought as well.
Yeah, but I'm kind of glad that he didn't. It just went to show just how far he is.
but here's the thing. Jerome's dad was a magician, I think, right?
I don't remember.
I think he was a magician. And when the guy spun the barrel and closed it, I'm wondering if Jerome was watching it, and so he knew where the bullet was.
Okay,
because of card tricks and stuff like that. Because he knew that he's like, click, 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 and then he gives it back to the other guy. One of the things this episode did really, really well was it was a very dark episode. Like almost the entire Gotham PD gets massacred.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was also really campy. They kind of blended the two styles really, really well, and it's something Gotham hasn't been able to do so far.
Yeah, and I think Jerome is what made it work. Like, I was kind of unsure whether he would make a good Joker, but I think this episode sold me. Like, that felt like the Joker.
If he actually is the Joker.
Yeah, if he actually is. If it's not a bait and switch, that felt like the Joker. Like, it was very convincing to me. And before, I was kind of on the fence whether I liked him or not for the Joker.
I'm still not convinced he's the Joker, just because he seems like obviously the Joker.
Yeah, that does. I mean, a lot of times when a show makes somebody so obviously the choice, they're not.
Right.
But if he does end up being the Joker, I'm totally 100% behind it, because he was fantastic in this episode.
The other really great scene in this episode was Alfred's conversation with Lucius Fox in the bar.
Yeah.
Alfred's story as a whole in this episode was fantastic.
Yeah, they did some great things with Alfred. Like, he obviously cares very much for Bruce. And so, like, he destroys the computer because he thinks whatever was on that got Bruce's parents killed, and he doesn't want that to happen to Bruce, and he has to know that he's risking a lot by doing that, and he does it anyway. And yeah, the scene with him and Lucius Fox in the bar, and like he just tells this story, and you just get chills up your spine because you're like, oh man, Alfred is terrifying.
Yeah, because he full on tells me, he's like, if it turns out that I can't trust you, I will kill you.
Yeah.
And it's just, and he's just so matter of fact. Like he's like, he'll kill you.
Yeah, he was terrifying.
Right. And as we mentioned before, almost all of GCPD is dead now. So where do you go from here?
Yeah.
I mean, the Maniacs are just going to run wild.
And Gordon had even tried to get Harvey to come back and had mentioned that they're short-staffed, that they need people. And then the Maniacs come in and they shoot basically everybody.
Yeah.
And they're going around like capping them as they're struggling on the floor. So you've got to imagine at least 50% of the squad is dead, if not more. Obviously, some of them were just injured and got away, but like that, if they were already short-staffed, that's devastating. How are they going to deal with the Maniacs?
Okay, and I think that's pretty much it for our Gotham review. If we missed anything that you think we should have talked about, let us know in the comments.
Moving on to Minority Report.
Season 1, Episode 2, titled Mr. Nice Guy. And while I did enjoy this episode, there is a major flaw with Minority Report as a show, and that is the most interesting part of the show is the future technology. It's not actually the story.
Yeah. Well, they have two stories going on, and they're only furthering one, and the other one's just kind of crawling along at snail pace. So you've got the officer and Dash, and their story is one case at a time, which is kind of what you would expect.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I'm all right with that. This case was kind of a little boring for me. I didn't think, but that that happens on like shows like this, police procedural type shows. The other one is this Hawkeye story that is a new like predictive policing thing, and that is just going at a snail's pace. Like it's briefly mentioned in the first episode. It's briefly mentioned in a hallway scene of like 30 seconds in this episode. And like I think they need to further that story a little bit more in order to keep attention, because they're focusing so much of the episode on the partner solving the murders that those are getting a little boring. I think they need that other story to kind of counteract.
It seems like they're having a lot of trouble getting the ball rolling with the Hawkeye story. And maybe that's intentional,
Yeah.
but I think it's a mistake.
I agree.
One of the more interesting scenes, though, is when Dash and Vega are on the stakeout, and he kind of confides in her that he doesn't feel really anything about killing that guy in the last episode. And they share this little bit of a moment. And she's like, I know what you mean. I've been there. And he's like, well, does it get any better? And she's like, well, I'll let you know. So they have this moment, and I think he understands her a little better, and she understands him a little better. So I'm interested to see their relationship grow, because they actually did, when they went into the club and they have like the wristband matchmakers, they clicked and they have a 51% chance. And I'm like, are they really going to do a romance between those two?
I really hope they don't.
I hope not, yeah.
Because that's very cliche. I mean, if they have to throw a romance in, do her with the brother, because that's also obvious, but it's not cliche.
I'm gonna say if they're gonna throw a romance in, do him with the girl he was playing chess with.
Yeah. Speaking of that scene I really, really liked when he walks back to the park and she asks him if he wants to play chess, because I think it's, he's been isolated from society for so long, and I think for him that's like, it's a friend, and it's an actual friend. Yeah, he's got, the police stuff, but they're not really friends. They're more like associates. They work on the crime together. They don't share very much. So that scene there was, I think, kind of important for him.
Finally, another problem with the show, at least in this episode, was obvious storytelling.
Yeah.
Like Dash inadvertently pushes Blanca toward his vision, toward her own death. And that's just a kind of a cliche thing to do, especially when you're talking about somebody trying to prevent a crime or something like that. So I really wish they hadn't done that, just kind of skipped that part, because he distracted her and creeped her out, she forgot her purse and had to go back and pick it up.
Yeah, and that's so very cliche when it comes to anybody predicting the future. Any books, movies, TV shows that are about somebody who predicts the future, the biggest cliche is knowing the future, does your actions trying to stop it actually cause it to happen?
Right.
And it's kind of been done to death.
and if they were going on a philosophical level in the show where he's conflicted about whether or not to help because he might cause the future that he saw to happen, that would be really cool. I would like that if it was more of a philosophical show.
But it was almost like a cliche throw-in for this episode.
Okay, I think that is it for our minority review. If we missed anything, if you think we should have talked about something that we didn't, let us know in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, and we really hope you did, be sure to click that like button and subscribe for more reviews.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.